Lydia and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make engraved paintable earrings just like these on the Glowforge. Let's get started. I'm going to make some lacrosse earrings and soccer earrings today. I've already created the SVGs for these and I designed these myself, and so I'm just going to upload them into the Glowforge software. If you want to know how to make your own SVGs to use on your Glowforge, like I do, let me know and I can make another video. Alright, so these are a little large for my liking. I like my earrings, like drop earrings, to be between 1.1 inches to 1.2 at the largest. So I'm going to make these 1.2 and the soccer ones will be 1.1. And I actually need to make two pairs of the soccer one, so I'm just going to copy and paste these. The inside of the earring, I need to engrave these. So I actually have an earring setting that I have played around with it a lot to figure out like what works for engraving that you're then going to paint on, so that it's more of a smooth surface. So for me, these are the settings I use. Speed 1000, power at full, lines per inch is 195. And so that's going to be on white acrylic, and I'm going to set these up now. I try to maximize the amount of acrylic that I can use. So I like to not space these out too much. I want to make sure that I am using as much of the acrylic material as I possibly can. And so just spacing these out accordingly. They don't need a lot of space between it all, so just keep that in mind as you're laying it out. Now that these are out of the Glowforge, we can start to paint them. So I use these acrylic paint pens that are also waterproof and fade proof. And they come in like packs of like 12, 24 and larger. And so I just pick the colors that I need for my project, and then you have to shake them really well to mix the paint, and then I'll just test them out on a piece of paper to make sure that they're flowing smoothly and they're properly mixed. I'll have the affiliate link for the ones that I use in the description box below. So as I continue painting, I'm making sure that I'm filling in all of the white spaces, and the brown paper that's on it, the masking paper that's on this, is going to prevent the paint from going anywhere that I don't want it to go. You just have to make sure that you stay within the white engraved space, which is why it's so important to get your Glowforge settings right for painting. When I first started making these earrings, I was just using the standard engraving settings for acrylic, and I found that the engraving was really rough and scratchy, which is fine when you're engraving normally, but when you're going to be painting on it, having a surface that's too rough will tear up your paint pens, and the tips won't last as long because of the roughness of the engraved acrylic. When your earrings only call for one color, it's pretty easy and straightforward, but when you have an earring that is going to use, two or more colors, it gets a little bit more tricky, especially when you have like channels like I have here on the lacrosse stick, where the paint can kind of like run into other areas. So you have to be really careful and let each color dry before applying the next color. I prefer to start with the darkest color and then finish with the lightest color, but that's just me. You really just have to play around with it and see what your preferences are. So if one of your colors runs into or bleeds into another one of your colors, whether it's because you didn't wait long enough for the paints to dry or just you made a mistake, like smudged it, that's totally fine. Wait for all of the colors to dry again, and then just paint over it with your paint pen. What I really love about these paint pens is they're really opaque. So I don't have a problem with it being too transparent and seeing what I painted over. That's not an issue with these paint pens. And also I love that they're super fine tip, so I can get into like in between small channels like I'm doing here on the lacrosse stick. Now, once all of the paint is dry, it's time to remove the masking paper. I think this is like my least favorite part of this process because it can be very tedious with these tiny little pieces of masking paper. It can get really annoying, but just take your time, use a weeding tool to take it off. If you don't have one, you can use a pin or a safety pin and help like take the paper off of your earring. And so once I take off all of the paper, I'll see like little areas of maybe paint smudge on the white area, and I'll just take a dry microfiber towel and just scrub it really hard. It won't scratch the surface of the earring, but it will take off any residual paint that isn't where it's supposed to be. The final step is to add the earring hooks. So you'll need a jump ring and an earring hook for each earring. I also have a silicone backer that goes on each earring hook as well. I start out by using my bent nose pliers to twist the little loop that's at the end of the earring hook. I prefer for my earring charms to face outward instead of laying flat against my face. So that's why I turn that loop 90 degrees. I always use 316 grade surgical stainless steel on all of my earrings. That's for the studs, the jump rings, and the earring hooks. That's the highest quality surgical stainless steel that I can find, and that's what I prefer to use, but some people use other things. So just look around and see what you prefer. For my drop earrings, I'll use either 7mm or 6mm jump rings, and for the earring hooks themselves, they are 20mm. And then I open my jump ring and add my earring and the hook, and then close that jump ring. Now, when it comes to closing your jump ring, you're going to want to like wiggle it back and forth, not just like clamp it down. You want to make sure that you're wiggling it back and forth until it kind of clicks into place. That's the way it's supposed to be done, and that makes it last longer. And that's the final step. I hope that you've enjoyed this tutorial, and if you have, please leave a like and a comment below with what other earrings or crafty things you'd like to see me make. Thanks for watching. Bye.